Hey, two. Hey, one. Hey, two. Hey, three. Hey, four. Hey. Whoa. Hey. Whoa.
I'm a perfectionist, so
Yeah,
I just.
buddy.
Hey.
Yes.
All right, let's do this countdown.
Hey. Whoa. Hey. Whoa. Everybody get up.
Thank you so much for sliding in. I'm LaDios Muhammad, actor with purpose.
And I'm Rav'n Moon, an actor with passion.
And we are actors from the dark side. This is episode 2, and we are covering, our topic today is...
Motivation, and why are you getting into the industry, as well as
the stresses of auditioning. So we're going to do 2 topics in one. So we're going to start off with, why are people motivated to be in an entertainment business? Whether it's, well, since we're actors, we're going to deal with acting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so you want to start off, I know you kind of tipped off a little bit from last week, but...
A little bit, yeah. My motivation, again, was kind of fulfillment. I actually always, I don't want to offend anybody out there, but I don't really love celebrity. I've never been a person that gets People magazine and follows XYZ star, I just always felt like they're people. I'm sure when they go to the bathroom, their stuff stinks just like mine. So
no, it doesn't.
I bet it does. Well, they might have used that poopery. Anyway,
I use that.
So it was never a desire to be seen or famous or anything like that. For me, once I started acting and realized, well, I have something to give, it was really a big motivator in terms of what can be my best performance? What is going to be that pinnacle for me? And time will only tell, and my experience of work will only show that. Yeah. So it's something that I can continually work on, and I feel like my biggest competition is myself. Right. So I'm always trying to figure out, what to do better and what I can give. So what about you, LaDios? What are your motivations for being in this industry?
I'm gonna be honest. So when I start off, I told you about my little Snoopy thing, right?
Yes.
Oh, I love that the standing ovations can be addictive. I love that. I thrive for that. But over time, this is how you can get yourself caught in a rut. When you're chasing that fame, when you're chasing something to get something back versus you're really giving from the art. And so as I grew older, because like I said, I have been acting since 7 years old. That emptiness feeling goes away. So when you start to find something of substance, where you be like, you know what, I'm doing this because I'm really have a purpose. I want to give back. I want to really, touch people. So like sometimes, have you ever been like sad and you be like, I'm just going to watch a good chick flick.
Absolutely.
And then it makes you feel good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially if it has a happy ending. So when I started looking from that lens, I was like, this is something I want to do because I am definitely having a purpose to heal people. Yes. So, but that came years later. Okay. And when I stopped chasing that fame. Because a lot of people get in it because they chase the fame. And that's where you get dangerous. That's where you can get caught up in the wrong area and you can end up in things that you don't want to do. And then a lot of people go into depression because they're not getting fulfilled. Like you said, you used the word fulfillment. So, but for now, as an actor, I pick roles and things that resonate with me, resonate with the message that I'm trying to send as an artist.
Interesting. I like that. Have you had any moments that have been kind of, I don't know, ego flattering, if you will? Have you ever had a moment in life where you're like, haha, yes, I'm doing this.
Yes.
Do tell.
This is so embarrassing. I don't know. I think every role can be ego flattering. I enjoy it, but as long as I know that it has a purpose, then I enjoy it. I mean, come on, we all. I don't want to be celebrity. If you ask my spouse, he'll be like, the one fear I have was celebrityism. I don't like thinking about going outside and you can't go to get a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
But the fame of that you put something, an imprint on somebody's head, that it resonates for years and years to come, that's big to me.
Yeah, me too.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's the fame I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, it changed their life. It even if it made them want to be a better actor or a better artist, a better person, that's the fame I'm talking about.
Sure.
Something that's longevity.
Like Ian McKellen, Sir Ian McKellen,
Yes.
or Meryl Streep, right?
Yes,
Where
yes.
you think of that actor and all that you can think about is their talent and what they bring to the table. And it's like, you know, I get chills thinking about them. And not even any particular show, movie or anything like that. You know, some of the show movies, particularly Meryl Streep, some of them I haven't actually liked as a whole piece of work. But she's always just a standout because of her commitment to her role. And, you know, I'd like to be that actress.
That's important.
Something,
Commitment.
Yes.
Do you know Meryl
Definitely.
Streep had said that they said she would never be famous because she was ugly?
Yes,
She
I
wasn't
have heard that.
attractive. You know my favorite show of her. I know this is very superficial, but I loved her in A Devil Wears Prada.
Oh.
I
That
love
movie was
that.
great.
I was like, that's all.
Oh, that's great. That's great. She blew me away in Big Little Lies recently, so I don't know
haven't
if you've
seen it
seen
yet.
that. You'd love
Okay,
that.
we have to review that together.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure, for
Well,
sure.
Big list of powerhouse actresses
Yeah.
in that. So yeah. But commitments, you touched on that, and last week you asked me if I had any negative experiences per se in the acting world, and that did trigger an experience pretty early on in the game. I had just gotten done with Blackberry Love, and I was like, okay, I found it. I finally know what I'm doing with my life, and was just auditioning left and right, trying to get into every and all productions if I could, and I did land a role with a theater company that I was very proud of, very excited about, and I almost got fired because I had taken another role with another company and had asked if I would be able to, you know, I think kind of switch around a couple of Saturday rehearsals, which is just against the rules.
Right.
Everybody know that don't ever do that to your directors. So that was a really big lesson in terms of if you commit yourself to a project, that's what you committed to. And to the point that my director in that experience had said something to me like, you know, you can go for everything out there, but you're actually in more demand when you tailor yourself for things that suit you and really put yourself in there. And I really took that to heart. So now I am that person that commits myself fully and wholeheartedly to whatever project I'm in. I very seldomly even audition when I'm in a production unless I'm at the end and I know, hey, time's coming up and I'm going to have free time again, because I like to give my director, my producer, my other castmates all of my commitment, because that's what the job requires and that's what the role requires, really, right? If you think about it.
That. That is so true, because even with auditioning, I was looking at something the other day from Angela White. I think she's a coach. I sat with her, not with her individually, but I sat on her web. She did like a conference or something a couple days ago, and she was saying a lot of times as actors, we can't even enjoy the role that we're in because we're thinking about the next thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even when we come in to audition, we're like, and they're like, we're going to the next thing, and I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Like even now, like if there's a deadline for an audition, I want to give 100%. And you know, you'll read the fine print. Get it in as soon as possible. Get it in as soon as possible, because you know they're looking at tapes and they're like. But my philosophy is, what's for me is for me. So I'd rather submit a tape and get it 100% my best, so that even if I didn't get the role because they chose someone else, it'll put an imprint on them that they may like. I've seen her.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So yeah. So when you're talking about chasing fame or versus your craft, that's very important, because the commitment is gonna be something that's discerning.
Yes, it'll make or break you, honestly. And sometimes I even think that's what happens with a lot of, sometimes you'll see some big name that comes into Hollywood and you're like, oh man, they're hot. They got the talent and everything. And then 3 years later, you're like, who was that person?
And where did they go?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's kind of one of the things that probably broke them is, the lights and the fame and all of that. And then it's like, woo, I'm having a party now instead of working on your craft. So that's important.
And you burn out fast because there's a next big thing. There's a next big thing.
Always.
I mean, if you look back, you can remember all the stars, like who was big, who was not, who was this. I mean, and you're like, where are they doing right now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be the next big thing. You want to be the thing. Like when I hear Al Pacino, I mean, I remember him when I was like in grade school. Like,
Absolutely.
oh my God, that's like a long-standing name. Even Denzel Washington, who I love, and Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, I absolutely love. So these are actors that have long-standing careers, and that is what I want to create and for myself as an artist.
Yeah, being a working actor, right? Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. That's a key word, working actor.
Yes.
Not, you just got in this great big blockbuster and maybe you got paid a little nice penny, but what are you doing in 2 years from now?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Are you going to keep working on your craft? Do you? Yeah. I'm not going to judge anybody because I think it's something that might ebb and flow. I definitely understand. Did you watch, let's see, was it Fosse Verdon? That was on FX a while ago. Great show. Here nor there, the lead actress, and I'm so sorry I can't remember her name, she just did such a phenomenal job, and I remember it was Variety or something. I read an article, and she was saying, I'm not chasing the next big gig, and I've gotten a lot of offers, but I'm savoring this role and this experience, and I'm going to wait a while before I move on from this, because sometimes it is so serendipitous and such a great experience, and not every experience is going to be like that because it is work, and so that's the other part of it.
Work.
Yes.
Oh, that leads us into our next topic, the work.
Yes, auditions.
There is
the mind-numbing work.
absolutely nothing glamorous about being an actor except for walking down the red carpet. Nothing. And that's after the fact.
Yeah.
But getting there, it's grinding every day.
Yes.
Memorizations, oh my God.
So hard.
If you've ever auditioned for films or TV shows or whatever, and you've gotten 3 auditions that maybe due in the next 24 hours or 48 hours, it is brutal memorizing 3 or 4 different scripts. It is brutal. Let alone a play.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When you're doing theater.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what are some of your tips for auditioning?
Ooh. The number one is be prepared. Be off book.
Yes.
So when someone gives you that script, be off book. And have your script in your hand though. No matter what, you have that script in your hand, but be off book. But be prepared. If your ass ain't prepared, next.
Yeah.
Because auditioning, they're brutal. I mean, they're just black and white. They'll be like, thank you very much,
and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing about auditioning now is that you don't get an answer at the table.
That's also a bad thing.
It
Because
is.
you don't know
You
if
just
you did
don't know.
good or bad.
Yeah,
And you'd be like,
absolutely.
it's not like you go for an
Absolutely.
interview for a job. It's you don't hear anything.
Yeah, often.
You don't hear anything.
Yep.
You might hear, oh, you got a callback. That's great. And then you go to the callback and you still don't hear anything if you don't get called back.
Right.
So it's stressful.
It is stressful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I have a couple of things that I've had to overcome in terms of stressors. One of them is I sweat. That's really annoying. And I mean like profuse like beads on my forehead, sweat like, oh my gosh.
It's right here?
Yeah.
See, mine's
all
under the
over,
armpits.
all on the face. I sweat from the
Armpits.
face. And I'm wearing makeup. So it's like, oh no, now I'm getting wet and moist.
Oh,
and yeah.
so what do you do?
So that's a tough one. Usually a lot of it is coming with being prepared.
Okay.
I don't break into that kind of level of anxiety usually if I know my stuff. Usually I break into that much of anxiety if I don't know my material as well as being put on the spot.
Right.
If I know my stuff, usually I'm able to keep that under control. But with the sweating, you just have to let it go, especially if you're in front of the camera, and just hope that it doesn't get picked up on because you can't really do much about the physicality of it.
What's causing the anxiety for you? Like, what is it? What are you feeling at that time? Are you feeling like judged? Are you feeling like What if I forget my lines? Are you feeling the pressure?
It's a whole slew, right?
Yeah, but because you said if I'm prepared, you don't sweat.
Right, so that does come from being off book and
Yeah.
being prepared with your lines. Now, let's say that you're in a cold read situation, where you didn't get, the script or get to prepare your material beforehand. That's a different level of anxiety, right? For me, things that contribute to my anxiety are A, being unprepared, B, other factors in my life. Let's say that my auditioning is happening right on top of 3 other crisis events in my life. That can be a contributing factor. Definitely the feeling of just, are they going to like it? Is this going to be well received, right? Because you are
judgment.
being judged. Yeah, and you're putting yourself there to be judged in some ways. And that's okay. I get that. But will they want or like it?
Yeah.
And of course, am I going to fuck this up abysmally? Pardon the F word.
That's the worst part. Oh my God. The worst nightmare is there was this big commercial for Colorado. It's a regional commercial. So all the regional area for, so I got my audition and I memorized the lines. I was off book. I was ready to go. And then when I arrived, and I always arrive early, about a good 15 minutes, and I go to sign in, and it was for a completely different role that I didn't read. And so I was freaking out. So I was like, oh, this is my lines? And I was like, she was like, yeah, this is what you're down for. I was like, oh shit. So lucky they were running behind, which is always the case. They're always running behind at auditions, but you don't be late. They can be late, but you don't be late. Anything. Anyway, it was like 25 minutes later and I'm trying to memorize every single thing. And it wasn't a lot of lines, but now the anxiety has built up in me because now I'm feeling like so green. And I'm like, I know I had everything. When I go in there, I fucking bombed the audition. I bombed it. I was like, wait, let me try this again. Okay, wait. I was stumbling over words. I fucking bombed the audition. And let me tell you, I walked out there with my tail between my legs and I felt like this big. But that was a lesson learned because I remember to read all of the fucking fine print. I read all the details now going forward, and I started asking questions with my agent when I didn't understand. And so that has never, ever happened again. So the whole thing is when these things happen, don't take it as something that's bad. Take it as a learning lesson. Flip that shit really quick, and you're like, "Hey, I'm gonna turn this into like roses."
Always, yes, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
I was like, "Oh my God!" And I thought the casting director will never call me back. Let me tell you something. They called me back for something else. 3 weeks later, I booked it, and I got a regional commercial.
There you go.
Yeah. So there you go.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, but the anxiety of auditioning is, it's every time. Even if you know your monologue, like it's just every time.
Yeah, it is. So do you do any certain strategies in terms of your auditions that you can share with people?
Well, depending on when you're auditioning for TV and film, you shouldn't show up too early because you're not supposed to. I'd say 5 to 10 minutes most.
Yeah.
So you definitely got to be prepared. For theater, I like to show up a good half an hour before my audition. And I do some exercises, some breathing, loosen up my lips, walking and pacing. I get myself stable because if I show up 10 minutes before my audition, I'm going to feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Okay. I give myself time to get, into the character, get relaxed and prepare. Theater auditioning is a lot easier because you have a monologue or you have a script. Usually they give you the script in advance. But even if it's a cold read, it doesn't matter. Your monologue usually stands on its own.
Sure.
But coming in for a TV audition or for a commercial, you're 10 minutes, you just got to be prepared. So I make sure that if I have to be there at 2, I might be there at 1:15, but I'm sitting my behind in the car, grounding myself, doing my exercise, and then I walk in and check in 10 minutes early because I don't like being late. And you should never be late. you know, but there's things that happen beyond your control, but that's like more anxiety on top of anxiety. So.
Yeah. And I'd say if it's a theater audition and you're running late, you know, send an email and still show up. Because a lot of times, like you said, they're running late.
Yep.
Or, you know, just show up and that's 90% of the gig, isn't it? Just showing up.
Oh, yeah.
That's what George Burns used to say, and it's
Just
so
show up.
true. It's so true, though.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any tips and tricks that I have. One thing that I like for nervousness is to plant some effort seeds, some bucket seeds, and, you know, just, okay, I know my stuff, and this is going to happen, and I'm just going to give it out there and let it go. And, you know, either it's going to go my way or it's not. But, you know, again, never taking those things personally. You know, I always say to myself, even if I were the most phenomenal actress, I could not possibly fill every role for every production that's out there. It's just there aren't enough of me, and there isn't enough time in the day. So
There's not enough of you?
no,
What?
unfortunately,
We need
they
to
have
clone
clones.
another one.
Yeah, I agree. That would help out with my housework so much.
Oh my God. You should do like that. Hire a cleaning lady. There you go.
Who needs one? I just have a clone.
I like that. Artificial intelligence on its
absolutely.
way.
Oh my gosh. And then I get sick of me.
I don't know. I think I would love me.
I would.
Maybe I'll give you a me and you give me a you.
There, I'd like
Okay,
that.
I like
I'd like that. Yeah,
I think that would be
absolutely.
good. Hello. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's great. I love cold reads personally, and I think that might come from my improv background. I usually step into a cold read like, oh goody, I get to play. And that's always kind of like, it's like, okay, you know, there's not... You get to have the script in hand and, you know, all of that. So, yeah, it's like, how can I push this? And I definitely love theater auditions more just because of the fact that I can be bigger. And, you know, you don't want to gesture too much. I'd say most people don't like that. Don't move your arms and hands and
For
things
theater?
like that. Theater, I've
Or
heard
for your
maybe
monologues?
one or two strong gestures show that you're a good actor, but it really should be coming from...
Very powerful.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Even in, you know, theater or camera, because camera, it's all right here.
Yeah, camera's all in the face.
Right here. So
It's
but
more of the eyes.
but I like theater auditions because I
The
can
eyes.
get a little bit of gesturing in.
So now you said you're still transferring over to TV, correct?
I am.
Have you
yes.
done any TV auditions yet?
You know, I've just done a couple of self-tape auditions
Okay.
recently, so we'll see what happens. I plan on resubmitting to a few agencies, so we'll see what happens. Wish me luck.
Yeah.
And we'll hope
Yeah.
for the best there.
'Cause
So
those-
it's strange times right now because you have to just be a little bit humble and accepting of the fact that, you know, there's not a lot going on
Right.
and we're staying at home and washing our hands and being safe. So, you know, that's just the nature of things right now.
This is a perfect time to perfect your art.
It is.
And your craft, and not to sit around and do nothing because there's nothing going out, because you don't know who's watching who.
Such a good point.
You know, so you were saying, that's interesting that you said that you like cold reads and so that would mainly be in theater, right? Do you really think there's a cold read in theater? Because like most of the stuff you can look up these plays by the playwrights, unless they're like new plays, right?
You know, often it is new productions that I found that I get a cold read on, you know, particularly when the production's being done in-house, director, writer, all in the same production house, that kind of thing. So, so those are a little bit, sometimes they can be a little bit off-putting. I had experience like yours where I got the script and sat in the waiting room reading those lines, not realizing there was a backside. And so then I got in there and everybody flips the script and I'm like, oh, sheet. So that's me.
But you know what? Those are just good learning lessons. I mean, you know, it's interesting because going to an audition for people, it could be a panel of people. It could be like 6 or 7 people. And God forbid if it's around lunchtime, because them jokers is eating and they're not paying attention because you're being videotaped. and you have a reader, and it's like, wow, do you even care? Because it's like you're like going down an assembly line. Next. So we take a lot of humiliation for the judgment of hoping to launch and book a role.
Definitely.
And it's like, why do we keep doing this to ourselves? Why do we keep doing this to ourselves? Why do you keep doing this to yourself? Raven, why do you keep doing this to yourself?
I'm a masochist? No, just kidding. I don't know. I like torture. Yeah. No, I mean, again, that chance to, again, even going back to my name and my old party days, I have always been one that loves to escape. And to be a part of that is that catharsis for someone else.
Yeah.
That is really, really fulfilling on another level, and especially when people come up to you after a show and, let you know how much that character touched them and how much your performance meant to them. Yeah, that's better than Christmas sometimes. So yeah, I mean, I'm serious. That feeling is just really amazing. So that's why I put myself through it over and over again, because at the end of the day, when everything wraps, I'm so proud of the work I put in. I'm so proud of everybody that I've worked with, and it's usually just such a great experience to walk away from that I can't wait to get back in it, even if I have to jump through the hurdles of putting myself out there and being rejected, because again, it's just, but if you're rejected, don't take it personal. It's not anything to do with you personally. It's that you didn't fit that role or that character. And if you keep throwing your piece of spaghetti at the wall, you're going to find something that sticks. Absolutely.
But should it be rejection? What about selection?
Yeah, maybe that's a better way to put it. Selection. Absolutely. I like that.
This is the person that was selected today. But one of the things is we just wanted to kind of read a little clip from an article that we had today that, to go into our closing.
Yes.
About auditioning. And why we do these things as an actor.
Absolutely. And I'll read. And let me just attribute this. Well, I think it was from Montgomery. A kid with the blog, anyways. And there's something incredibly badass about a breed of people so hungry for their art that they will outwill their demons and fight their own body's rebellion for the off chance that they may be granted permission to give the gift of catharsis and to make others feel less alone. So to all of you trudging through trauma, you are tough and beautiful, masochistic creatures, and your crazy makes the world a more bearable place. Kudos to that.
Yes, and that's why we do what we do as artists, because we love to give back to the community and show some art that touches the world. Now remember, you don't have to sleep to dream. I'm LaDios Muhammad. I'm an actor with purpose.
And I'm Rav'n Moon. I'm an actor with passion.
And we are actors
from the dark side.